Hello. If you are new, welcome in. If you are returning, welcome back. We are traveling back to 1982. The Commodore 64 goes on sale. Hasbro premieres G.I. Joe. Christmas Day, I got my first Atari 5200. Cats premiere on Broadway and will surpass A Chorus Line as the longest running musical on Broadway. The top three songs of 1982: Joan Jett, I Love Rock and Roll; Survivor, Eye of the Tiger; Olivia Newton-John, Let's Get Physical. Michael Jackson will debut a little known album called Thriller. Tragically, in March of 1982, John Belushi dies at the age of 33 of a drug overdose. My first celebrity death that hit me a little hard. I was in disbelief. In July of 1982, a helicopter crash will occur on the set of the Twilight Zone movie, killing actor Vic Morrow and two child actors. On television, you have the premiere of Family Ties, Saint Elsewhere, Knight Rider, T.J. Hooker, Inspector Gadget, and a little known show that didn't catch on at first, but soon everyone will know your name. 1982 will be a pivotal year for me in going to the movies. What I love about watching the Cinema Snobs year in films 1980, 81, 82, 83, 84 is that most, if not all, of the movies that were listed, especially the B movies, were movies we mostly saw at the Capitol Theater, our neighborhood theater where you saw two movies for $1, which meant I often had to sit through a badly dubbed kung fu movie or a B movie that had been mentioned on the Cinema Snob Year in Film. Check out the Cinema Snob Year in Movies. The link is in the description. So when Auntie took us kids to the movies, or I was made to tag along with my older cousins, I often didn't have a choice in picking the movie. In 1982, I will slowly begin to see more movies by myself, slowly beginning my journey of experiencing films beyond the neighborhood Capitol Theater. These are my 10 movies of 1982. Before we get into it, please like and subscribe. Your support goes a long way in helping me make what I hope will be fun, nostalgic videos. At number 10, Poltergeist. The Freelings are a suburban family who is experiencing strange occurrences in their home. Their youngest daughter, Carol Ann, is able to communicate with spirits through the TV, and her uttering the iconic, "They're here." When the spirits take Carol Ann to the netherworld, the Freelings hire paranormal investigators led by Tangina to rescue Carol Ann. It'll be discovered that their house was built on top of an old cemetery. Released June 4th, 1982, this was saw at the Capitol Theater at least 3 times that summer. At number 9, First Blood. John Rambo is a Vietnam vet drifter who is arrested for vagrancy. While in custody, he is brutalized. His PTSD kicks in. He manages to escape into the woods with the sheriff department and his former commanding officer in pursuit. Released October 22nd, 1982, we saw this at the Regency Theater and maybe one other time at the Capitol Theater. At number 8, Fast Times at Ridgemount High. An IMDb overview, a look at the lives of a group of high school students. Brad Hamilton, who decides he should break up with his longtime girlfriend to play the field. He's at a loss, however, when she breaks up with him first. Jeff Spicoli continues to take delight in getting under the skin of his teacher, Mr. Hand. Others are looking for love, sex, and plain having a good time. Released August 13th, 1982, we saw this at the Regency Theater. I feel like I should address the elephant in the room in that in the 1980s, teenage comedies that involved sex will become very popular, especially in 1982 with movies like Porky's and The Last American Virgin, and of course Fast Times. These are movies, right or wrong, I would have seen with my older cousins when I maybe shouldn't have at that age. Most of the stuff would have gone over my head. It'll be years later that I realize what Brad was doing in the bathroom when he was watching Linda come out of the pool. When talking about my first introductions, Sean fucking Penn. His Jeff Spicoli is what made me love this movie. A few months later, we saw him in the movie Bad Boys. No, not that Bad Boys, of course, but this one. And again, not a movie I chose. I can remember this isn't Spicoli and being bored to tears. Sean Penn will spend the next 40 years choosing a wide variety of diverse acting roles, each one different from Jeff Spicoli. At number 7, E.T. An alien ship leaves behind one of its own. The alien makes his way to the home of Elliot, his older brother, younger sister, and divorced mother. Elliot discovers the alien, who he calls E.T. They form a bond. He helps E.T. go home while evading the government, who is tracking E.T. Released June 11th, 1982, we first saw this at the theater in Old City, waiting in a line stretching around the block, not really knowing what this movie was. I don't remember seeing any promos for this beforehand, and at first glance, it looked like it would be boring as hell. I was quickly able to connect to this movie, the obvious scenes we all connected with and applauded loudly, the flying bikes. The rest of the summer, we saw this many times at the Capitol Theater. At number 6, Rocky III. It's 5 years after Rocky won the heavyweight championship from Apollo Creed. He's becoming a celebrity and complacent in life. Meanwhile, Clubber Lang, a much fiercer fighter, is coming up through the ranks and wants his shot at the title. Rocky agrees to fight him. The night of the fight, words are exchanged. A shoving match occurs, causing Rocky's trainer, to have a heart attack. Rocky loses the match, and Mickey dies. Apollo will train Rocky for his rematch. Released May 28th, 1982, we first saw this at the Sam Eric 4. I knew what Rocky was since Rocky II. This will be my first introduction to seeing it on the big screen. The theme, dun 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 at the beginning, the montage with the Eye of the Tiger playing, that opposing force that is Mr. T. That summer, I felt genuine fear watching him. That fear will slowly melt away by the fall with his appearance on Silver Spoons and in Different Strokes. This movie was seen at least 6 times that summer. At number 5, Annie, the Tony Award-winning musical brought to the big screen. Released June 18th, 1982, I saw this at the Midtown Theater. This was a movie I was determined to see. The first movie of the year that I got to see by myself. A great cast. My first introduction to Bernadette Peters, Tim Curry, Jeffrey Holder, Ann Rankin. I actually met Eileen Quinn years later when she came and spoke at my college. We got to hang out with her afterwards. That was a fun night. At number 4, The Toy. Richard Pryor plays Jack Brown, an unemployed journalist who gets a job as a janitor when the son of the wealthy U.S. Bates sees him clowning and decides he wants to buy Jack as a playmate, and the hijinks ensues. Released December 10th, 1982, we saw this at the Goldman Theater and then saw it many times after at the Capitol Theater. I could talk about how this movie made me feel on an emotional level. There were a lot of funny and emotional scenes between Richard Pryor and Scott Schwartz. There are also some very problematic aspects of this movie, especially watching it today, particularly the buying of another human being. During Christmas break, 82 into 83, this movie was seen many times. At number 3, Tootsie. Michael Dorsey is an out-of-work actor trying to raise money to produce a play. His agent informs him that he's a difficult person to work with. When his friend Sandy is rejected for a part in a soap, Michael auditions for the part as a woman and gets the part. Michael Dorsey, now Dorothy Michael, becomes very popular on the show. He meets Julie, a cast member, juggling the popularity as Dorothy and falling in love with Julie. Released December 17th, 1982, I saw this at the Sam Eric 4 by myself. I don't know what made me want to see this movie in the first place. It made me laugh, and for a 10-year-old, I was able to comprehend most of the dialogue. This would be my first introduction to Jessica Lange, Terry Garr, and Charles Durning. Between December and January, I saw this maybe 6 times, if not more. At number 2, Grease 2. Michael, an exchange student from England, comes to Rydell High where he meets Stephanie, a member of the Pink Ladies. She only wants to be with a guy who rides a motorcycle. Michael will learn how to ride a motorcycle to be with her. He appears as a mysterious rider. She falls for him while having to deal with a jealous Johnny, the leader of the T-Birds. Released June 11th, 1982, we saw this at the Duke and Duchess Theater. Grease will always hold a special place in my heart. It was the first movie I saw in the theater that I have a clear memory of seeing. We saw this every week in the theater for as long as it played in the theaters, buying the cash recording and reenacting the songs. So when Grease 2 came out and there was no John Travolta or Olivia Newton-John, there was some hesitation. But from the first musical number, any hesitation went away. I have gone from absolutely loving this movie as a kid to watching it as an adult and thinking this is the corniest thing I've ever seen, to now watching it and appreciating the corniness. This was seen at least 4 times in the theater. Going to the movies, one thing that I always loved seeing were the movie posters and watching the movie trailers. I wanted to only list 10, but there were so many iconic posters and trailers from that year. I would be remiss if I left any out. So here are 17 movie posters and trailers I clearly remember. At number 1, 48 Hours. Albert Gans escapes from prison with the help of Billy Bear to retrieve money that was robbed a few years earlier. They track down Luther, one of the robbers, and his girlfriend. They hold her hostage until he can get the money. We meet Jack Cates, a police officer. Police are able to track Gans and Bear to a hotel where a shootout occurs. Jack's gun is stolen and Gans kills the 2 other cops. A desperate Cates reaches out to Reggie Hammond, another member of the gang, and gets him out of prison to track down Gans and Billy Bear. Released December 8th, 1982, for some reason, there was a lot of resistance from my mom to letting me see this movie. Despite all the other R-rated movies I was able to see that year, there didn't seem to be an issue. Eventually wearing her down, I saw this a week later at the Capitol Theater, where I had to sit through the blaxploitation classic Black Caesar, starring Fred Williamson. A movie I appreciate now, but when waiting to see 48 Hours, it felt like watching paint dry. This was my first introduction of Eddie Murphy's dynamic, electrifying screen debut, especially his scene in the country bar. Between December 82 and May of 83, I've seen this movie maybe 10 times, if not more. And there you have it, my 10 movies of 1982. What were your 10 movies of 1982? I'd love to hear about it. Leave a message in the comment. Until next time.